Base Nation, what is good? What is really good, y'all? Happy Tuesday. We got a good stream today, so gear up. All right, strap in. We're gonna get going here very soon, but it's pretty much all about a woman's solipsism. Why women are the selfish gender. Okay, why it's innate to her and the female psyche and all that. Okay, we're gonna give you guys some examples of all that and stuff. Um, so yeah, stay tuned. All right, it's gonna be a good stream. But before we do any of that, who the fuck am I? Well, my name is Robb Based. I'm a dating and relationship coach. I've been doing this for about 7, 8 years. Since going on 8 years now. And I create content. I write books, and I started out helping out divorced fathers actually, and now I'm just kind of branching out to help men in general. Okay, so if you're an 18 to 35-year-old man, you're in the right place. So I'm here to create a catalog right now. I've been kind of talking about all these topics behind the scenes, doing one-on-one coaching, saving families and shit. But I just been talking about this stuff for a very long time, and I want to evolve my content. And so for 2024, I decided that I'm gonna put out every single one of my paid content out for free. Okay, and then everything that I've obviously talked about on these live streams. Okay, if you don't want to aggregate it all in one video, then you can just get my book. Okay, I put everything into my book. All right, in more detail. I'm a better writer than I am a presenter for now. Okay, as I work on my presentation skills and my speaking skills and whatnot. Um, yeah, all right. We're gonna go out there and do this in a big way. Okay. Um, what was I saying? So yeah, if you want to support the book, it will be out soon. I just don't know when I'm gonna release it actually. In terms of like the actual date, but right now we're doing kind of like a behind the scenes book club reading. So if you guys are interested in that right now, and you want a free copy of the book and you want to check it out, all I ask is uh, for a testimonial in return or a review on how the book has helped you. Okay, so if you guys want a free copy, then hit me up on IG. All the links are below. All right, so you guys can check all that out. Um, but I'm kind of getting into the groove right now. So I'm doing live streams every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I'm kind of in the groove, like I said. And we're just pumping out this content as much as I possibly can, it's just so that everyone can get up to par with all the things that I talk about and all the things that, you know, I talk about, with my clients and stuff like that as well, and how I help them with their journey and whatnot. All right. Um, so yeah, stay tuned. All right. There's a lot more to come. And then, I'm also filming a thing called Side Hustle Saturdays. Okay. We're gonna try to turn $500 into $100,000. All right. And then if we end up hitting at that 100,000, then we're gonna try to grow it into something bigger. Okay, whatever it is. But I'm gonna be documenting every single dollar that comes in. All right. We're gonna do. We're just gonna document the process. That's kind of like why I'm here doing all this stuff too, right? I just want to be transparent with my entire journey, but also have people see the growth in it, that you can do this yourself, right? You could be a total nobody like me and go out there, write books, um create an audience, sell products. You could do all that yourself. Okay, create a personal brand and whatnot, and then yeah, and then the sky's the limit from there. However you want to manipulate that world is totally up to you. Okay, I chose to write books and write and create content. Okay, you don't have to go that route. Okay, but it's just an option. But anyway, all that stuff is gonna be out soon, so just be patient. I have a lot of stuff on my plate. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing here in the background that I don't even talk about either. All right, at the same time. So hopefully the gain is okay on this stream, because the last time I think the last stream the gain was all the way up and it was really loud. So hopefully this is better. I'll only know post production, so because no one's really in the chat saying what's up. So, but if you guys are watching out live here, shout out to you. Welcome to Base Nation. I'm going to be creating this community out once the book is finally launched. So it's going to be kind of like a requirement to get into Base Nation is to kind of read the book or at least understand all of the concepts that we're talking about here. Okay, so I'm going to be giving out pretty much free game. Okay, this is what people pay money to go into people's courses for. Okay, you go into like people's like mentoring and whatnot. Okay, this is what people pay for, but I'm going to be giving it out here for free. All right, so that's what Base Nation is, and I'm not really just trying to undercut anybody or any of that. I'm really just trying to give value and give because that's just how my mentor taught me to do, frankly, and I've been doing that for the last like 7 years. So anyway, enough about that. Just follow along the journey, okay? I would appreciate a subscribe, a like, a comment, a follow, or even a share, okay? If you do find some value out of it, okay? All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of the stream. That's enough housekeeping for today. I feel kind of rusty right now. I think it's because like I'm actually really tired, y'all. Freaking, I don't know what it is, but like my neighbors, man, they have like zero, like, I don't know what it is. They have like zero, like foresight into, other people's lives. Okay. And like, I live in like, so right now I'm just temporarily here right now. Okay. I'm in between places because my other place, I had to leave. Okay. But, and this was kind of like the in between. And so my neighbors right now are just driving me insane, and they make weird fucking noises all the time. Right. Not to mention like, they're doing karaoke like until like 1 in the morning. And then like this morning I heard like soft piano noises. Okay. And like, when like your phone alarm goes off or whatever, and you hear like, the chimes from your phone alarm, like picture that, but just it doesn't stop. Right. And I think it's because like, I don't know, they got like a little puppy or something like that. Every time I like rattle my keys, I hear a little right? And so I think they got a little puppy, and so they left the puppy at home, and they're just playing this fucking piano music. Anyways, it's driving me insane, man. So I'm a little bit tired, so I apologize. Okay, and you add in all the freaking. I work out twice a day right now. All right, I'm doing 45 minutes of cardio, and I do resistance training in the morning. Okay, so bear with me here. Trying to get all this stuff out to y'all. All right. Okay, so what is solipsism? All right, so you guys came and you clicked on the stream because you're probably wondering why women are the selfish, or why they are the selfish gender. Okay, so what is solipsism? You probably heard the term before, but you're probably unsure. So I'm gonna give you guys a definition. Okay. Oops, I had it up. Bear with me. And I friggin' I ordered the wrong boom mic like an idiot. So now I'm stuck still holding this shit, man. You're wondering why. Okay, this is pretty much just the dictionary or the Google's definition. Can you guys see that? Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Okay, so the quality of being very self-centered or selfish. Okay, it's just a fancy word for selfish. All right. The view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, all right, why women get like this. Okay. Oops. Why women get like this is it's an evolutionary thing. Okay. Women have to be the selfish gender because if we're both selfish, right? Like if men and women are both selfish, that wouldn't work out, right? We'd be constantly trying to one up each other, and then we would be lonely. Okay, that's why they say men are the true romantics, right? Women are the selfish gender and whatnot. So it's evolutionary. Okay, they need this kind of like in their psyche to protect themselves from their from anything, all right, and as well as their offspring. So When I say a woman can only love herself and her children unconditionally, this is what I mean. She won't love you unconditionally. This is like, game 101 if you're just coming into the red pill, or if you're just trying to learn about how females are. But you start to understand that a woman can never love you unconditionally. And that's okay. That's not their job to. Okay. It's our job to be the self sacrificing, agape love type of giver. Okay. Women just don't have that in them. I'm not saying all women don't have that in them. Okay. Like, I mean, if you look at Mother Teresa, all right, she was like a one of one. Okay. Um, but there's no one else like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know anybody else after Mother Teresa or even before her that was very, like, prominent in that sense. Okay. Because, like, when it comes down to it, women are just, they don't have that in them. Okay. They don't have the empathy. They don't, it's not innate for them. Okay. And again, it's because of evolutionary purposes. Sometimes, like, I'm not saying this is us, okay, but like in the animal kingdom and even sometimes in, like, amongst like insects or whatnot, uh you'll see like a woman will, do something fucked up, like she'll cannibalize her children or whatever, and that's because she's protecting, uh well, one, the kids could have a birthday gift, but also, like, secondly, she's protecting them from either, let's say let's say a lion, okay, gets impregnated by you. You're the male lion, okay, and then you guys have kids or whatever, okay, and you guys have baby cubs. Now, let's say another lion from another fucking pack, all right, comes and kills your ass, okay, and now you're dead. Those kids now, the lion that came in now obviously knows that those kids are from you, okay, and that's not the new pride. So they're gonna kill those kids. Sometimes the woman does it. Sometimes the female lion does it. Sometimes the male lion does it, okay? But the point is, it's an evolutionary thing. She needs to now be loyal to the new lion, okay, and start that new legacy over there. And so another thing that you can learn from that is that, like, women just have the evolutionary framework to monkey branch from, captor to captor, because, like, that's just, they're the weaker gender. They have to be submissive to, like, some freaking barbarian coming into the village and saying, you know what, you're mine now. And if you don't, I'm gonna like lunk you over the head with this club, and you're gonna die. So a woman has to be able to, um, I guess, transfer her psyche over to the new captor. Okay, it's kind of like, what is it? I think, is it the war brides dynamic, right? I think Rolo talks about it as the war brides dynamic, right? So women are the selfish gender, okay, for evolutionary purposes. They need to protect themselves and their offspring, okay? So, but basically it's because she can only think of herself and not others, all right? Now, that's just a general definition. This is kind of just like spitballing here, okay? But how does this translate into relationships, okay? So we're going to talk about that. There we go. Okay, so solipsism is when she thinks of only herself and not others. Okay, she can't put herself into another person's shoes. So basically, you'll hear this all the time. And I don't know if you're in other female circles or you have friends who are females and they talk about this as well too, but you'll hear this. And so basically, let's say, a girl she's checking some new guy, or she's like, sorry, you guys don't understand what checking is. Do people even use that term still? Checking, okay. But basically, during the courtship phase, okay, when the man and the girl are just like, when they first start talking to each other and they're like texting. Let's just say you as the man, okay, you wake up at like 6 in the morning and you get to your job, you get there at like 8, and sometimes you work overtime, and you barely have any chance or even time to look at your phone, okay, because you have a demanding job, as you should, right? Like, guys should go out there and do the work, right? We don't have time to be sitting there texting our girlfriends like, oh, hey, what are you doing? I miss you, right? Like, we don't have time for that. You should be out there manipulating the world and bringing in cash, bringing in money, all right, and setting up a foundation for yourself. That's your number one MO, and that should never stop, and that should never ever take precedence over anything else. So when you're at work, busting your ass, trying to make money, okay, what she's doing is she's complaining to her friends and saying, this fucking guy is ignoring me. Yeah, I texted him at 10 a.m. Okay. Meanwhile, you're up at like 6 a.m. fucking getting ready to go deal with the day, and she's waking up at like 10, and then she texts you back at 10, and you don't respond to her, and she's getting mad, right? That's the world that she lives in. Okay. You could say things like, hey, I was so busy, like I couldn't even have a chance to check her phone. She doesn't give a fuck. She thinks you're ignoring her. So women don't look at how like another person's world might be the reason why they're not texting you. Instead, she looks at how the world affects her. Okay, she's upset because you're not texting her back in a timely manner. Okay, meanwhile, you're sitting there busting your ass so you can make the money to take her out on the fucking date on Saturday, right? So in your mind, you're thinking like, this selfish bitch, right? You're thinking like she can't even think that, hey, maybe I'm busy, I can't text you back right now, right? So she's thinking it's this asshole is not texting me. That's how she's thinking. Okay, that's what solipsism is. All right. So when you catch women doing this, all right, don't get mad. We can't get mad. I mean, it's honestly hardwired in them to be this way. Okay. Now, given the fact that we're in the modern day world, we have the ability to, talk about these things. And not to mention, women are keen to the red pill now. So they understand these topics more so because they're sitting here Googling it. They're sitting there researching stuff like this. Okay. So women now have the ability to, I guess, what is it? Snap out of it, right? Just like how much, like just as like how men, right? We're not gonna go our whole day trying to be a fucking asshole to everybody, right? We can pick and choose whether or not I'm gonna be an asshole to somebody. Okay, like for example, you go into the gas station, the clerk, you see him every day. You say what's up. Why would you choose to be a dick to that guy, right? When he did nothing to you? In our minds, we're thinking, yeah, like the clerk did absolutely nothing to him, so why would I yell at him? Whereas a woman, let's say she goes to that same gas station, the pump's acting up, it's raining, she's cold, she doesn't know she needs to pump gas, the fucking thing's not working, the card machine's not working, so she now runs into the store, starts yelling at the clerk, right? Why isn't this thing working? You guys should have this stuff, like blah blah blah, right? Like it almost sounds crazy, right? But to her, it's normal because that's how she thinks. It's the world is affecting her, not, hey, there could be a possibility that this pump is malfunctioning and maybe you should just go use another one, right? Here, let me set you up with another pump. So again, it's not about how the world affects other people, it's how the world is affecting her. Okay. So women are the selfish gender. We can't get mad at them, but they do have the ability to turn that off. Just like how when we go in that same situation, we're not going to get mad at the clerk. He's doing his job. We're just going to be like, yo, what's wrong with this pump? Did it take my money or whatever, right? You can be calm and collected when it comes to this shit. But a woman, she doesn't look at it that way, okay? So now, how do we spot these types of women? Well, I just told you. And it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world when you do find a woman like this. It just means that, she's giving into her innate selfishness, okay? But women can practice just like how we can practice, like our anger management, let's say, right? Which I don't even think is a real thing, to be honest. It's just, yo, when you're angry, like just take a minute to fucking calm down. It's not rocket science, you know what I mean, for guys. But apparently it is for dudes, because like it's hard for you guys to calm down. But just like how we're able to be like, all right, you know what? Anger is probably not going to work in this situation. Let's back off. Women on the same token, they have the ability to be like, all right, you know what? Let me just be a little bit empathetic to him. All right. I wonder what he's going through and how can I make his day better, as opposed to, always take, right? So I would hope that women, okay, have friends that kind of check them when they're acting like this, right? Because I know some girls that, I won't even say names, but I know some women that, they can't catch themselves, all right, when they're acting this way. And then, when you bring it up using the Socratic method, they're just like, oh, yeah, you're right. Maybe I did overreact, or maybe I should think about his perspective a little bit more rather than mine, right? And so, um, women do have the ability to kind of turn their solipsism off. Okay, so it's not the end of the world because women are solipsistic and they're selfish and yada yada yada. Okay, if you guys understand females a little bit more deeper, or just humans in general, right, you'll start to see that there are different levels to being a human. Okay, not everyone walks around leveled up. Okay, it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like a game, right? We're in this multiverse all together. Everyone has like a little number on top of their head. Okay. Not everyone is leveled up. Okay. They haven't gone through enough experiences, right? They haven't gained enough XP to, I guess, figure out the new problems that they're going to face. Okay. And it's not until they go through that will they ever, develop those things. But we need to know that not everybody in the world is up to par with where we are. And because that's the case, we have to be a little bit more empathetic to, just people in general, but even to women too, right? The most basic level ones of women, like the most basic chicks, you'll see that they won't even comprehend the idea of solipsism, right? They'll be like, what are you talking about, right? Like, your world is crazy. This is my world, right? She won't even understand. Like, for example, if you guys ever watch Fresh and Fit, of course you guys do, okay? If you guys watch Fresh and Fit, you'll start to see, like, female nature in 4K. And whenever a point is brought up, and it's a good point, it's an objective truth, it's an objective reality, okay? Whenever that point is brought up, a girl will say things like, yeah, well, and they'll bring up the exception to the rule, right? They'll be like, yeah, well, my friend, it's like, so let's just say this, a statement will be made like, 90% of women are sleeping with like 10% of guys, right? Like we can say something like that. And then we know that like the top 10% of guys are getting all the bitches, right? We could just say something like that. We kind of understand that, all right? But a woman, because in her world takes precedence over everything else, she's going to say things like, well, and let's just say she knows a Chad, right? Her best friend, her best guy friend or whatever is a Chad, right? And he sleeps with like a bunch of girls and he gets to, have his way with a whole bunch of them because she witnesses that guy just absolutely crush it with women, right? So that's her perception and that's her reality. So she'll say things like, yeah, well, my guy friend, tons of girls, he gets tons of girls and he sleeps with all of them and yada, 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 right? And she's negating the fact that like 80% of guys aren't like her friend. You know what I mean? Like, he's like the one-off Chad that fucking gets his way. You know what I mean? And but that's her reality. And so her solipsism takes over and she'll say things like, yeah, well, my guy friend, he gets tons of girls and he's a big player and da 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 da. So it must be easy for guys to get girls. And then everyone's jaw drops, right? Because it's like, how could you say such a thing when you know clearly that, like, yo, men are fucking struggling out there in the dating market, right? Like, if I don't know if you guys know seen the statistics out there, right? And so this is what I mean by women are solipsistic. Okay, they have no choice but to be this way. But then the level is the lowest levels, right? The lowest of levels, like of people in general, they won't even be able to comprehend this term until afterwards, right? Until you bring it up. So obviously you're not going to bring this up to your girl if you're seeing, like, if you're seeing this right now, you're in a relationship or whatever, like, don't bring this up to your girl. Okay, she's not gonna she doesn't care. Not to mention, like, it just, you know what I mean? There's no point in trying to red pill your girlfriend. Okay, if anything, it's just, if she does behave this way, just take note of it. Okay, and just know that, okay, she needs to work on empathy, and she also needs to work on gratitude. Okay, because what gratitude does is it eliminates a little bit of her entitlement. Okay, which we're going to talk about the next point here, but it gets rid of some of her entitlement, and the empathy also makes her look at another person's perspective. Okay, and this will kind of disarm her solipsism, her need to be selfish. Okay, and now let's get into kind of like the philosophy and kind of like the history behind this. Okay, so now you guys know what it is. All right, how does this play into the modern world? All right, well, let's look at some of the history behind this. Okay, women, all right, when they were when they were actually good women out there, um and they were, soft, nurturing, feminine, submissive, empathetic, grateful, all that stuff, right? They loved men. So it's pretty much before feminism took over. Okay, before militant gender feminism took over, women were these loving, nurturing creatures that, were able to empathize and were able to support and make a better life for their husband. And that was their goal in life. Well, because modern gender feminism has taken over, women are now being encouraged to be more solipsistic, meaning, oh, you don't need no man, be an independent girl, make your own bag, fuck him, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the rhetoric now these days, right? So this feeds into her solipsism. This makes her, like, reaffirm, yeah, you're right. This is how I feel. Of course, yeah, right? And of course, we're going to feed into her negative desires, just like how, society feeds into our negative desires. Like, they try to, like, you know, do more, like, drink more alcohol, do more drugs, right? Listen to fucking demonic music and, all this other shit, right? So just like how evil can penetrate men, evil can penetrate women. And so through the mental plane, they're being inundated with all these messaging of, like, yeah, you know what, just go get your bag, girl, don't even worry about it, being in this independent, you don't need no one, boo, da, 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 just do your thing, right? So that, again, that feeds into her ego, it feeds into her solipsism, it reaffirms that, yeah, this is my intuition and this is how I should be. But little do they know that this is actually a negative thing that they're trying to promote. But women don't really fucking care, right? They don't know anything about morality until a good man comes along and says, hey, quit this shit. Okay, like, this is not how you're supposed to act, right? Like, if you're to raise a family, you're supposed to teach your kids, like, morality, and we can't teach them to be selfish, right? We need to teach them to be generous and loving and empathetic and caring, right? Because how are we going to raise good humans in this world? So because this feeds into all of her negative fucking delusions and whatnot, okay, this makes her super selfish. And what else does selfishness have in common with narcissism, right? So you see all of these narcissistic women out there, okay? And the narcissism is just the ego protecting the solipsism, okay? So the solipsism is obviously a cope for women, but it's something that they can totally remove from their life and replace with higher vibrating emotions such as gratitude or empathy, or, just being a kind, caring human being. But because women are so far gone, all right, and because we're asking them to be more masculine so that they can pursue their dreams, their goals, or whatever and whatnot, they are shutting this part off, okay, and they're being super selfish. And what that's doing is it bleeds into their dating life, and it gives them this sense of entitlement. Like, yeah, he should be paying for the meals. Yeah, he should be opening the doors. Yeah, he should be doing all this stuff. My girlfriend's boyfriend does this, and my girlfriend's husband. I see, like, because that's your fucking. They're all simps, all right. They're all part of the fucking matrix, all right. They were designed to be that way, okay. But when you meet a guy who's like, not gonna give in to the bullshit, okay, and he understands what true gender roles are, and like how that affects the dynamics at home, and how that's actually better for families to raise, okay, in that ideology, as opposed to like this all this other crazy shit that we're doing right now. I don't even want to mention other people's names, right? Because like again, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'll talk about it later on, okay. But like there's just so much things in society that I can point to where this is happening, and we're just allowing it, right? And it's just boggling my mind that the answer is so fucking like it's right there. I'm giving it to you guys, right? Like we need to eliminate women's solipsism by making them more empathetic and grateful to live their life. Okay, but we have to give them purpose. Like we need to erase, first of all, their toxic thinking of, you know what, I don't need a man. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to put off having children, families, and whatever, right? Just to be like discarded by the time I'm 35. And then by the time I'm 40, I have like 6 cats and I'm on like, 14 different SSRI medications. And it's like, are we really doing good for our for our women by telling them to be independent and do all these things and get your bag and chase money and not your family? So as a guy, why this is important for you to know, if your woman is behaving in this manner, then you just have to subtly make her practice gratitude and subtly make her practice empathy, because that stuff, again, it's going to help her rid that entitlement that she has inside of her, that she's and it's feeding her narcissism, it's feeding that ego to be this way, okay, because again, she's going to hear it through the mental plane on TikTok and fucking like Megan Thee Stallion's music videos and all these like you know what I mean. So just be aware that this exists in the real world. Just be aware that that is going on. And then when you're in a relationship with a woman, okay, don't think that, oh, because she's this way, she's fucking useless. No, all girls are this way, right? It's just that when they meet a good man, okay, they stop acting that way. Okay. And that's the point I'm trying to get to you guys, is like, you need to be a good man. Okay. And I'm not saying a nice man, okay, because nice men aren't really nice. You need to be a good man. Okay. And you need to have everything in place so that when you do administer these boundaries, or you do administer these laws, or you do administer these like teachings or whatever, this type of morality that you want to see carry on when you pass, right? And so you can pass it along to your family, all these values, right? She will see it for that, as opposed to you coming down on her flaws. Okay. Again, you have to frame it in a way where it's like, look, I'm here to grow with you. Okay. But in order for us to grow, in order for me to trust you with, raising our kids together and whatnot, you need to show me that you have this ability to not be this selfish. Okay. I understand why you're this way. Don't get me wrong, but we need to figure out how we can get you to a place of gratitude, and to a place where you can look in through another person's shoes and through their lens and say, hey, how can I make their life better? And why is that important? Let's say you have a son who's crying, a daughter who needs your fucking assistance. Okay. You need to be able to look at their life through their lens and figure out, okay, how can I administer help for their situation? Okay. And that's important to have a woman be aware of this stuff because, again, you're going to be out milling the fucking yard or whatever. You're going to be gathering all the wheat. You're going to be clunking the fucking dinosaur over his head and dragging the fucking carcass inside the cave. Okay. These are the things that men have to do. And I would argue that there are things that women have to do, and this is part of their journey. Okay. Is learning gratitude, learning how to be empathetic, warm, caring, soft, nurturing, so that it can exude into your family life, and then your kids now learn what a soft, endearing mother is, not this hardened boss bitch lady that becomes everybody's mother that everyone hates now, right? And if you grew up with a mom who is like this, okay, you're going to end up despising females like this. But subconsciously, you're going to be attracted to them, which is another fucked up thing, psychological thing that we could talk about on another stream. All right. The Oedipus complex. But, you know, without getting too convoluted, okay, we just have to take each thing at face value and work with it one by one. We can't take all of these concepts and try to fix everything all at once, because you're going to drive your woman crazy, because they're not handled to, they're not designed to handle these types of problems, these rational thinking type of problems. All right. So there's going to be a lot of work involved with that. And probably going to be a lot of patience on your end. Okay. There aren't any bad girls out there. They're just bad men who can't control their girls. You know what I mean? We have to be able to like administer frame on women. And the reason why we look for submissive girls is because you don't want to try to do that kind of stuff with a girl who's overcome with her solipsism and overcome with her entitlement and narcissism. Right? You don't want to change those girls. You want to try to change the girls who are willing to learn, who are like, "You're right, babe. I shouldn't be like this. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I'm going to work really hard to be more grateful. I'm going to work really hard to be a little bit more empathetic to other people, not just me. I'm done being the victim." Okay? There are good girls like that who exist, okay? But you need to be aware of these types of chicks, okay? And not to mention, if you do find a girl who is a little bit too solipsistic and you are in a relationship with someone like that, it's not the end of the world. Women are able to change, okay? But if you don't have all of your ducks in a row, like let's say like you're a smoker and you're trying to get your girl to stop drinking, she's going to look at you like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, he's addicted to cigarettes and he's telling me to stop drinking. But if you were squeaky clean and you had all your shit together and you told her like, hey, look, I don't want to be with a girl who's going to be drinking all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stop you from drinking, but if you're going to stop drinking, then you can come over here. But this is my boundary. You start picking up that drink again, then you can't come over here. So you're not really just trying to control her. You're just trying to administer boundaries. But the thing is, when a good girl comes around and she can be submissive to you and she realizes like, yeah, you're right, babe. I've been acting all weird, or I shouldn't be drinking every weekend, or all this other stuff. That's a good girl. Okay. Don't throw it all away just because, she's acting all selfish or whatever. You guys feel me? It's just, this is something that's built within women, and the more understanding that you have, then it sets the tone for her to have some understanding of, sometimes we're gonna give into our selfish desires sometimes too as a man. All right. And it's up to us to kind of not do that, all right, as best we can. All right. But nobody's perfect. We're gonna fuck up, right? Don't put so much of this pressure on you to perform, okay? So yeah. Where are we at now? 40 minutes. Okay, not bad. I try to keep these streams about an hour because, I mean, a lot of people nowadays, they don't have the fucking, what is it? The attention span no more. The, most people, they're in there for just a quick 10-second, give me the fact, give me that one bar, and I'm good, And it's like, you can't talk about these types of topics with just one little snippet. That's why I do this long form content, because it takes a while to break down these ideas. If you guys have been following me for a while, then you would understand that a lot of this stuff makes sense, because I do talk about how men and women are different, we love differently, right? We view the world differently. And so when we can see the lens that women are looking through, now we understand, okay, how they behave. And it's not the end of the world when you see a negative behavior from a woman, like something like this, okay? Just learn how to address it. We got to the root of it, right? Women are selfish. It's because of evolutionary purposes and whatnot. But how can we battle that? Well, we just have her be more grateful. We just have her be less entitled. We just have her practice looking at things through another person's lens. We have her practice, and it makes it sound like we're fucking training a girl, like we're training a dog, okay? And it's not like that, okay? It's really not. It's behaving in a way where, she gets it, okay? She starts seeing you be grateful. She starts seeing you turn it around and saying, hey, you know what? God damn, that person must be going through some shit right now. Can you even imagine what that person's going through? And you break it down like this. She's going to be admired by the way that you think, because that's not how women operate. And so by you acting in a certain way, and by you even just like noticing certain things and inserting these kinds of conversations into her mind, planting seeds, right? Being the sower, okay, but also reaping what you sow afterwards, right? Because like I can't tell you how many times I've built up so many girls, all right? Like I can't tell you how many girls I've been in relationships with, and I built them up so much, okay, to the point where they're like, I know so much about myself now, and I can heal all the things, right? But I never stuck around to witness that, and now they're a perfect girl for somebody else. Hey, I did my job, okay? And that's kind of like the point of Break Her Bed and Not Her Heart, all right? That's the point of my book as well, too, all right? Having like 100-person, 200-person body count and smashing a bunch of girls, I mean, it's not impressive to me, right? I think if you could retain a hot girl and have her do all kinds of crazy shit for you, I think that right there is the game from that guy is probably a lot more airtight than the dude who's just one and doneing girls, okay, back to back, and just these girls are just not sticking around. Okay. And a lot of people will argue with me and say, like, hey Rob, well, that's the female version of, like, you know what I mean? Retaining a guy is a female thing. And I'm like, no, man. Like, when you have a really good girl, okay, like I'm talking a really good girl, you don't want to lose her, okay? You don't want to lose her. You might regret it later on, okay? You're probably thinking, oh yeah, Rob probably has. No, that ain't the case, okay? I don't regret anything. The only thing that I regret is not being able to spot these things sooner. That's the only thing I regret. All right. Because when you're able to spot these things sooner, you save yourself trouble. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I'm running out of shit to say in terms of female solipsism, so that is my cue to start wrapping up this stream. All right. So if you guys got some value out of it, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm trying to grow my IG and my YouTube channel. So if you guys are watching me here on Rumble or whatever YouTube, whatever, just hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. Again, I'm trying to create a movement here. Not just for like for shits and giggles. I'm actually just trying to. I'm really trying to do this because I do see the problem when it comes to being in relationships. I see that it's very detrimental to women's health, not to mention men's suicide rate. There's just all kinds of things that are deteriorating here in the West. And as a integritous man, you should kind of spot the problem as well and do your part to um, fix it, right? Because that's what men do, right? We try to attack the problem and try to fix it, right? So because women are the selfish gender, we as the men, we have to kind of be that, the opposite of that, right? And we need to, carry the torch, as they say, and also set the example for women. So that we can grow together, okay, and that we can restore something back to what families used to be. Because it's not what it is anymore. You know how many people are in broken families right now? You know how many people grow up with mixed blended families and divorced parents, and it's crazy. Okay. So that's only going to create more hurt in the world if you think about it. Okay. So how do we battle that? Well, we need to be good ourselves. We need to become the man first, right? So I do these streams, like I said, okay, so that you guys can understand the theory behind a lot of the stuff, okay? Because when you understand the theory, and the one thing about how I learn is when I take this concept, okay, when I learn, well, I just learned, let's say you hopped on this stream and you learned about solipsism today. Okay, you're like, okay, now let me go see it in action, right? Now you go see a woman, go and do something that's very solipsistic. You're like, wow, god damn it, he was right. I can't believe I just saw this and I witnessed this or whatever, right? Rather than trying to point it out and saying, hey, I caught you, you're being selfish and da 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 da. Rather than go through all of that, just hold it all in and take notes. All right, just take a deep breath and just laugh it off, okay? And just take note every single time it happens, okay? What that does is it helps you internalize, okay, this part of their nature, and you're rewiring your brain so that you don't get upset when it occurs. Because most guys, when they come into my coaching, they get really upset at female nature. They're like, why does she always do this? Or I can't understand why she, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, she's a female. That's how females fucking act. Okay? We need to accept it. All right? Just chill. You know what I mean? Don't get so upset. When you're upset like this, you're releasing your feminine energy. Okay? So just calm back, chill, be zen, right? Nonchalant, bring it back to baseline, and then just observe. Okay? And again, what that does is it helps you internalize it and then you don't get mad. But then also when it does arise, when it does arise or whatever, your mind is now in the habit of fixing that problem or thinking of things to say or thinking of clever things to say or thinking of something funny to, kind of go along with this teaching or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, how you administer this frame to your girl, there's no one size fits all answer for that. I can't give you a script and say, this is what you say to your girl in order for her to not be solipsistic. No, that's not how it works. You know your girl the best. You know her type of communication, and you know whether or not certain words are going to trigger her and all this other shit. Okay. You know her the best. So if I say it this way, that might trigger her. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you gather all this information, you internalize it and you are okay with it, it becomes part of this natural rhythm that you have inside of you. It's your charisma that brings out these hard to talk topics with her, and then at the end of it, she's like, you know what? I feel better now. Feel better. I'm like, yeah, I can't believe like, we had that talk and, we're not yelling at each other. Well, great. I'm glad. Now let's get on with it. You know what I mean? Get naked. But anyway, it's like when I think about all of my past relationships, right, and how butthurt I used to get, okay, over female nature, I laugh at myself. I'm like, man, I was such a dweeb, or I was such a loser, or I'm like, I can't believe those things fucking got me so upset and bent. Why was I so out of shape over these things? Right? And it's because I couldn't understand women. But now that I understand women, you learn to accept them, you learn to love them for who they can't be to you, not what they ought to be to you, right? And then you just say, you know what? It's better that way. It's better that they are the opposite or the complement to us, right? Because if I was that way, it'd probably drive me nuts. Okay? Nobody likes a selfish guy. Nobody wants to be around a selfish guy, right? You probably see other dudes who are overcome with this type of feminine energy and they're selfish as fuck. All right? You don't want to be around those guys. Those aren't dudes that you could bring into your circle and call him your boy. You know what I mean? Because that's not a boy, man. That's a female. He's acting like a female. So, one of the things that I like to look at is how generous a guy is. Not because like he's doing it to fucking gain friends or have people like him. He's a generous guy because that's just his nature. Do you know what I mean? He's that way with everybody. One of the best books that I ever read was The Giver. You should go read that book. Okay, that's a fucking life-changing book. And a lot of what is it? A lot of life secrets are hidden in books. Okay, and so I'll just leave it at that and go get mine. All right, I have a lot of fucking gold nuggets in there and a lot of good secrets that you guys may not know about females and women, and how to deal with that. Okay, especially as a young guy, I didn't know any of this shit. It's not like your professor, who's probably a beta male, all right, is gonna teach you about this stuff. The dude probably hasn't banged a girl in like 20 years. Okay, he's not gonna know what it takes to retain or game a woman. You know what I'm saying? So learn from people who have kind of been there, done that already. Okay, and not to mention guys who are kind of in the thick of it still, all right, are even better to learn from. All right, because they're in it, they're in the game. All right, they're playing it. It's kind of like a fucking live stream in real life. Okay, I'm live streaming this game called Life, and women are kind of like an obstacle. All right, and each level there's a new boss that you're gonna have to face and that you're gonna have to beat, and you're not gonna be able to pass that boss if you don't level up. All right, and understand how this is how females operate. Okay, so just learn how to spot it, learn how to not let it get to you, and then also again how to turn it around on your woman. Okay, and like how you could bring these topics up to her to not hurt her feelings and make her like, you're such a horrible person, this is how women are. Like, no, don't make her feel bad, right? Because if you're a follower of these streams, you know that a woman's world is emotions, right? So you're not going to try to crush her world, right, by making her either i.e. upset or pissed off at you. Okay, there's better ways of handling that. You have to create the emotional safety for her in order for her to submit to you later on in bed. Okay, because if you don't create emotional safety for her or whatever, that's how girls call it. I don't really agree with that, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't create a world where she feels comfortable and safe in with you, you're gonna lose, man, every single time. All right, and these are one of those things, is making her feel safe, protected, and say, you know what, it's okay, babe, I know you're this way, I know it got the best of you, but in the future we're gonna look at it this way. You know what I mean? I may have say something like that along those lines. Okay, she'll still probably be pissed off at me or whatever or the situation, but at the end of the day, it's gonna plant a seed inside of her mind to be like, look, I don't like this about me. I didn't like the way I felt when I was like this selfish or whatever. I want to change it. And this is where you offer her and say, look, want to check out my gratitude journal? These are the 3 things that I'm grateful for. Do you want to read them with me? And this will plant a seed for her to be like, man, I should probably start a gratitude journal. Maybe I should start writing things down that I'm grateful for, right? Setting the example, being the guy first in order for her to just get it and follow suit, right? You guys get what I'm saying? I know this shit doesn't fucking I know this shit is landing, all right? I know this shit is making sense to you. Because the people who watch this channel, the people who stay on Base Nation are they're very intelligent people. Okay, because like guys who are level 1 or level 2, let's say, and they hop on the stream and this Asian guy's talking about female solipsism and all this other shit, they're gonna click off. But the ones who watch this stream are very intelligent. They understand, these little nuances and these intricacies in philosophy and psychology and, human behavior and all this other shit, right? So I commend y'all for sticking around. And, honestly, just go and get it now, because these are the types of things that's going to help you in your relationships. Okay. Not just with like your girlfriend, but like women in your life too. You want to know how I forgave my mom? All right. Me and my mom had a fucking horrible relationship. All right. And now we're amazing. And it all like, I had to do my work too. Okay. And this is part of it. Right. It's just understanding that, man, if I knew this about my mom, I would have had so much more fucking empathy for her. Right. And maybe I would have helped her in a more productive way. Okay. So you might have a sister, a mom, an aunt, grandma, someone who you're not really close with. This will help you understand them more. Okay. So just as much as they need to have empathy for other people, maybe you've become a little overcome with solipsism and feminine energy and entitlement, and you're being a little bit egotistical or whatever. Maybe you need to remove some of those layers, right? Be a man, be empathetic, be grateful, don't be entitled, and lower some of your guards so that you can connect deeply with the people in your life, right? Because at the end of the day, man, money's important shit, and getting bitches and all that, like having a good lifestyle is all important. But at the end of the day, man, it's your family and your friends, all right? At the end of the day, it's only them, okay? You would trade in all of your cash, you would trade in all of your money and all of your hard-earned dollars just to trade it in for your family and friends so that they could live. All right, just think about that for a second. All right, so we are approaching the 1 hour mark. I'm gonna wrap this up. So if you guys do want a copy of the book and you guys want to support that when it does come out, I appreciate you. I'm probably gonna be doing a bundle when it does come out. Do the digital Kindle version, the hardcover, or sorry, the paperback version, and the audiobook. Okay. And if you do end up writing a review, which means that you've read the book or whatnot, then you will get the founding fathers price for Base Nation. Okay. So Base Nation will be a subscription. Okay. I'm just gonna break it all to you guys now. It will be a subscription, but the first people who jump in on it at the beginning, you guys will be grandfathered in for life. What that's going to get you is access to my mentors, my coaches, my network, everything else that, I'm going to bring into this. Is obviously I'm going to build it after, and you'll see the growth of it and whatnot. Okay. We might even go through another branding change. Who knows? It may not even stay Base Nation. We'll see, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just creating community for guys who just get it. Okay. Guys who, don't have friends in their circle who they can talk to about this kind of shit, because like let's just be real. Most guys are blue pill, right? It's because most of the dads in society are all blue pill, right? And so it's hard for, guys who just get it to have this kind of conversation with, other guys that get it, right? Like what if your girl was pissing you off about this stuff and your boy has no clue about female nature, right? He's not going to understand what you're talking about. He's not going to be like, yeah, yeah, you know what? It's because this is how bitches are. You know what I mean? They're solipsistic. They're selfish, man. Just don't worry about it right now. Just like let her cool down, and then bring this up afterwards or whatever, right? But like a lot of guys can't have this conversation with you, and I get that. Um, so anyway, all right, just stick around. I'm gonna be building this thing out, and we're gonna build that community so that again you can have like-minded guys around you that obviously get it, and then it just makes life easier, man, when you have people like that. Like I said, all right. I've been searching my whole life for people like this, all right. And when you do find people like that, you hold on for God for dear life. You know what I mean? It's like you get me. Oh my God, what the fuck? I don't have to say all these words just so that you can fucking understand what the hell I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting sick and tired of talking about all this stuff. That's why I'm creating the catalog now. All right. So I put all this out there so you guys can access it for free and whatnot. Level up, and then we'll evolve the content. All right, and we'll do more collaborations. I'll get more into the red pill space, and we'll start talking with like other creators and stuff like that. All right. I have so many things that I want to do. All right, and I'm done. The behind the scenes stuff where I was like working on myself and building myself up, and working on my confidence and working on my charisma, working on my communication, working on all these things where I was never ready to come out just yet. You know what I mean? But now I am. All right. I've been in the trenches working on myself. Right. I wish I documented that process, to be honest. I did a little bit, but man, it's so fucking cringe. Like I had to delete some of it because it's so fucking cringe. But that's the thing, man. Like when you're going out there and you're putting yourself out there, your first like part of the journey is gonna be so cringe. It has to be, right? You don't even know what you're doing. You're just throwing some spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks, and it's embarrassing. It's cringe, man. But anyway, I've I know why now it was cringe. It was because I wasn't acting like myself. You know what I mean? I wasn't being who I was. You know what I mean? This is who I am, right? This is how I grew up. You guys will see. All right. Um, but anyway, all right. That is all I have, y'all. All right. So make sure you guys sign up when all the links are out. But until then, I will see you guys on Thursday. All right. Robb Based signing off. Peace.